Hey everyone, it's me, Kyle Eilerman. I'm I guess you could call me the creative director or the guy behind the Fan Theory channel, also the Fanning Out channel, and the Patreon and the merch store. Anyway, I have really been bothered by some of the things I have heard as of late from some creatives that I have been in contact with, not only during 2020 and 2021, but just in general. And I've really realized how afraid we all are. And I shouldn't say all, I just mean the general term all. There are so many people in an industry of any sorts, whether it's creative or not, who they don't achieve much, and they always complain that they're not reaching their goals. And the thing is that I'm almost tired of hearing it, but I empathize with that feeling, because there's so many of us out there that we have these dreams that we want to reach. And the problem is and it's a consistent problem no matter who you talk to, about people who don't accomplish what they're after. And the consistent thing is always that they're afraid. They're afraid, whether it be commitment, of making choices or actions, or being responsible for any mistakes. They're afraid that they'll mess up. And if you talk to anyone who's achieved great things, they will always tell you that they messed up constantly. The thing that I always tell people, and it's so hard to, I guess, process or to accept, is if you want to achieve any form of greatness in life, you have to go after what you're afraid of. Fear is one thing, but choosing to go toward that fear is what leads to great success. When I started my YouTube channel, and granted, I'm small in comparison to some, but I'm very proud of what we've accomplished. I had one thing in mind, because I'll be honest, I was jealous. I was jealous of so many people out there that were doing something, that they were making something, that they were, getting praise for something. I never get praise, but I do praise myself every day. And sometimes I get praise in the comments, but that's beside the point. My point is, the only reason why my channel is even nearly what it is, and why people are actually interested in potentially buying it or other things, is because I chose to put myself out there, to be afraid, but go for it anyway, to be willing to make mistakes and learn in that process, because that's the only way you will ever learn. It's the only way you will ever grow. And it's the only way you'll ever get close to reaching the goals that you set out to reach. And this message isn't just for creatives. It's for everyone across the board. If you ask the majority of people out there who have dreams, I would honestly believe easily that 99% of them would say, I don't know, I'm just not brave enough to do that. You're just so brave. I am not brave. I am definitely not brave. I'm terrified every day I do certain things that are creative. What I do that's different, and the thing that those that were making things were different upon me, is it doesn't matter if it's good, at least not initially. What matters is that you're doing it, and that you commit to it, and that you are happy with it. And so, in the end of the day, if you're not happy with it, change it up. Do what you want to do. And this is, again, very generic statements, but it works across the board. If people out there would just overcome these fears, or maybe not overcome them, but choose to go after them, you will soon and very quickly realize that this is just an invisible wall that we all put in front of ourselves that we think is menacing or scary. And the honest truth is, after you start to do any of the stuff you set out to do, you will soon very quickly realize there's nothing scary about it. And not only that, how resilient we all are to our fears. And that we can do great things if we just allow ourselves the chance to try. I know that this is so obvious to some people, but it's amazing how many people I talk to on a daily basis who don't do anything, and then they always spend their whole lives thinking about if only I do this, or someday I'll do this. And I know it's an easy procrastination mindset, and that's fine, but you have to remember, don't be afraid to spend money if you have it. And if you don't have it, and you think you can spend money on something that might be an investment that you can commit to long enough to make it worthwhile, spend it. Money always comes back. Even for those who struggle financially, money is not a thing you need to hoard. For starters, with any economy, it circulates regardless. And I know everyone's in different financial situations, and that's easier said than done, but in life, time is fleeting. Your life is fleeting if you're not doing anything with it. And I see this so often, and that's why I'm talking about it. So thank you so much, Gaz Nugget. Thank you. But it's true. So many people I talk to, they'll often say to me, man, it's so cool that you have a YouTube channel and that you're doing all that cool stuff, and everyone's so impressed. And while it's an honor, and I appreciate that they appreciate what I do, or they find value in, my skills or whatever, I am no better than anyone else out there. And I'm talking to you, the person watching this right now. This applies to all of you. Not just some of you. All of you can learn from what I'm saying here, because I've lived it. When I moved to California, it was terrifying. I moved here from, corn-fed Ohio, and I knew nothing, and I didn't know if I could even make it. And I was such a small town boy. The idea that people could even be slightly rude to me. Yes, Jacobo, yes, that's my editor right there. It was hard for me, but then I realized that not everyone out here is as cold or as scary or as mean, and that there are so many people everywhere, who are just like you, who can relate, who will want to build you up and support you. Hey, buddy, hey. So I wanted to put this out there, because talking to friends, talking to other people, so many people are like, I just, I couldn't do your channel. And I always say, yeah, you could. Yeah, you absolutely could. Anyone who wants to start something can. Whether it's a YouTube channel, whether it's make a movie, whether it's do a web series, or even something outside of entertainment, whether it's, become an astronaut. I mean, all these things take time, and some things are built with, a little bit of, a tiered system where certain people are above each other. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't strive, because if you go for anything, you will be so impressed and so surprised by what you're capable of. Everyone out there is capable of great things if they're willing to commit to them. It's a choice. It's a choice to intentionally think about the things you're passionate about, which are usually the things we are most afraid of, and going for them. You know what? I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Um, I love that you think I'm attractive because I don't feel or share that mindset. But when people say that, it's very nice. Of course, it makes me feel good and it does build me up, which I appreciate. But one thing I've learned, and it's something I'm still learning, is that what makes a person attractive isn't primarily their looks, it's charisma. And charisma is not something that seems easy to obtain, but just like anything else, and this is something I'm still surprised to learn, charisma is something that you hone after choosing to be charismatic. And I know, oh boy, Kyle, you make it sound so simple. And trust me, the first time someone told me this, I said, it's not that easy. And in some ways, no, it's not easy to turn on a switch and be like, okay, I'm going to get people to like me because of this reason. It's a choice to be more charismatic. It's a choice to be like, you know what? I'm going to be confident. I'm going to choose to be. And even if I'm wrong, and most of the time, we're all fallible, and we will all be wrong at times. I don't care what director or writer or producer or actor or performer of any kind, or even those outside of that who are into science or math or another industry. You can be confident in any of these things if it's something that you set out to be. And in the end of the day, if you say no, this is my action, this is my choice, you never, ever have to feel shame or pride about a choice you make for yourself. When you stand on your own 2 feet and decide, this is right because I chose to say it's right because it is right for me, because I believe it's right for me, it is. It's something I've learned from lawyers. It's, like any argument, you're always right as long as you have enough conviction on it. And as long as you're confident in and you tell yourself, even if there's doubt, you just brush it off and say, you know what? I'm going to make mistakes, but if I don't take this action and choose to trust myself enough, I will never achieve greatness. And that's the absolute truth. And you got to look at your time and you got to work, but you got to work in a way that makes you happy, not work in a way that's like, oh, this is just draining, unless it is all for a great goal of yours that will help you reach the things that make you happy in life. And then it's worth doing the hard stuff. But ultimately follow your heart and don't follow, your fears. Well, follow them in the sense that go after them, but don't let them influence your choices to not do anything. You don't want to look at life and be laying there on your deathbed and look at yourself and think, this is the person I was years and years ago. You don't want to think at the point that you're at your life and thinking about how, oh, someday I'll do these things. Remember that someday will never happen as long as you continue to believe it. And model good looks, you're gorgeous. Oh man, you are just the greatest. I appreciate it. But seriously though, I don't want you, I appreciate the compliments, but I think you can impress yourself. I don't know what you look like. I really don't. But I do believe that the only way to feel better about yourself. Oh, Wayne Gretzky, yeah, he did say that. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. It's absolutely true. I just wanted to get on here and say this because this is something that's been haunting me almost, that I hear from people close to me say all the time. And you know what? I'm going to say it, and hopefully I don't get in trouble. My co-host and you've seen her, I'm sure, on several of our channel's shows, Mackenzie Rain. When I first offered her the gig to be a host on what we now call We Watch Slayerverse, she was so honored, which in that respect, her being honored was so much an honor to me that she felt that way. But also, I would always encourage her to do her own thing. And she's now starting to, and I'm so proud of her. She's doing her own Twitch. She's building her own following. She's doing TikTok stuff. She's getting out there in some capacity, and she's doing it consistently. And that is a big part of it. You gotta commit to something where you decide, okay, but you gotta make it reasonable. When I started this channel, we only put out one episode of content a month. One. It was one episode of Fan Theory. And I very slowly transitioned us and myself into a comfort level where we could start doing 2 shows a week. All the way from 1 a month to 2 shows a week. And I thought that was insane. And it's nothing. It is so nothing. And then over time, I was able to figure out ways to build up money, not as an income necessarily right away, because any passion project is going to require you to have to do the everyday job or things to keep you afloat. I sent a pass across ice and it deflected off a defender's skate past the goalie into the net for the score. Okay. But as long as you, as I always like the metaphor of pushing your jars forward. And you can imagine it, or you can literally do it as a way of an exercise, a practice to make you understand it better. Imagine putting your goals, each teeny little one, each small little one, into little jars, right? You just write it on a piece of paper, fold it, put it in a jar, and seal it up. And then you imagine every day that you push that jar forward, each one of them a little bit. If not every day, at least every week. Regardless of the time frame, you make it consistent. You commit to that. Such intelligent, sweet people with intelligent conversation. Oh, I will pass that along. You are the greatest. I will definitely let them know. But if you keep pushing these metaphorical or physical jars that have your goals in each one just a little bit forward consistently, doesn't mean every day, doesn't mean every week, doesn't mean every month. Even every year is still moving forward. It's probably better to go every month though, at least. You will be amazed what you can accomplish. You'll be amazed. And you almost got to turn your brain off, right? Because this thing, outside of the mobility and the functioning, you got to turn off the part that's emotion-based. And I don't mean you got to be heartless. No. Be a considerate person when it comes to other people. And even your own, needs in life. But when it comes to goals, you got to go a little autopilot at times. You got to go, all right, well, I have committed myself to this spot. Set alarms on your phone. Do whatever you have to do. Put it on the calendar. Whatever works for you. Stick to a goal consistently. Take break? Sure. Make it short. But you can't continue that break. You got to go right back to it. Because you'll be surprised how soon you'll be so old that you'll be like, it's only harder. It becomes harder. But that doesn't mean that even when you get older that it's too late. It is never too late. What is this? YouTube is about quality, not quantity. Sometimes the quantity swamps the quality over a massive pile. Ha! It is about quality over quantity. And if that's where you put your efforts, is spending more time into making one thing or fewer things greater, that's great. If you wish to produce more and not necessarily more time put into those individual things, that's great too. You're still creating something. You're still growing. You're still, you know, enhancing not only your quality of life, but at the end of the day or the end of your life, you can look back at everything and go, huh, I didn't do nothing. I actually did something, and I'm proud of that. And with that, I have to note, you also have to be proud and celebrate when you've achieved even the smallest successes. The smallest successes. Every single one must be celebrated. And the greater the success, the greater the celebration. You know, a small victory, you could treat yourself to a little brownie, something small. And then as it grows, you just keep giving yourself something else. And on top of that, when you are doing something that is part of a goal, you don't want to ruin it for yourself by making it solely work. You have to enjoy it. And if you're finding yourself not enjoying it, take a break from it, take a breather, get back to it though. And maybe treat yourself to something not like a reward, but something mildly soothing, mildly comforting, some kind of comfort food. Or maybe you allow yourself like 10 minutes of video game time, which I know you can't accomplish much in 10 minutes. Something fun, a walk, a cheeseburger. I don't know. You get the point. It's really up to you, but in the end, we cannot be afraid. Or better said, when we're afraid, especially when it's something that we actually when it's associated with something we actually are passionate about, that's exactly what you need to do. Thank you so much, Gaznugget. I will always keep them coming. Oh, I love that. That sounds great. Cup of tea and a cookie. Yeah, I hope this wasn't a pointless little live stream I put out there. I know that there's always going to be people that are more successful than you. Every single day, I look at people who have massive numbers compared to me, and I realize there's no reason for me to look at these numbers. There's no reason to be discouraged. There's no reason to compare yourself to others. Compare yourself to yourself. Success is not about being better than others. It's about being better than what you once were. It's that whole idea of you can't, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. You are only going to be as good as you are capable of. And as long as you are trying, you have to be proud because you're choosing to be better than what you once were. Chase your fears. Don't let yourself get lazy or complacent. Life is so much more rewarding when you overcome that silly wall that's invisible and take action for yourself. And I promise all of you, that if you actually listen to my words, heed them, follow through on them, you will be blown away at how awesome you all really are, truly. I just had to say it. It's been bothering me, and I keep reading things from people, and I keep talking with people. We're so much more than we could even imagine. And things take time, but we're always going to be impressed as long as we allow ourselves the victories, allow ourselves to follow our heart, and choose to go after what we're afraid of. Because it's such an awesome feeling the minute you realize it's not so scary. All right, guys, I'm heading out, but I just wanted to say that. I felt it needed to be said, and I hope that something good came out of this for all of you. I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope that some of you actually really do what I just said. Have a good one, everyone.